language teaching and a model based on the comparison of standard forms, I say, of the same language. Why this? Why the standard forms? Comparison of standard forms. The exponential development of ICTs has made intercultural contact frequent and inevitable. Internet-based technologies have highlighted the differences between communities, and these differences have had a negative impact on mutual understanding, even between users who speak the same language. Internet users have realized that the same language is used differently in different countries. In the business world, for example, and in order to overcome this situation of misunderstanding, major companies use localization of websites. However, in education sector, the education sector doesn't yet grasp the importance of the localization in language teaching classrooms. What is this importance? Localization allow to language teaching to discover different standard forms of the same language. So, the study attempts to demonstrate the importance of opting for a kind of comparative language didactics by taking advantage of the achievements of localization. Given us localization has its limitations, non-localized websites can fill in the gaps. It is why this study is based on the analysis of a number of localized and non-localized websites. Introduction. Language learning is the main basis to acquiring any type of language of knowledge. In order to teach in mathematics or sociology, we must use language. This importance has made the language the subject of endless studies and researches in order to develop efficient and effective learning or teaching methods. The emergence of ICTs has boosted this importance. After the emergence of ICTs, internet users discovered that the same language is used differently when it is spoken in other countries. These differences lead to misunderstandings that require middle-of-the-road solutions to bridge the gap. Then we need a solution. Teaching the language in its different forms in different countries, using a comparative method could be one of these solutions. This method is inspired by our experience as a PhD student in website localization. We will examine the question and attempt to answer the following question. How important and useful could localization be in comparative language teaching? We start with the notion of comparative language. The notion of comparative language used in this study was inspired by other disciplines such as comparative literature, comparative law, and comparative grammar. Comparative language is conceived in this context as a model of language learning or teaching by comparing the different standard forms of the same language, standard and non-dialects. For example, French in France compared with French in Canada and Belgium, American English compared with British and or Canadian English, and so on. In classrooms, these notions could be reduced, and we can speak in future of comparative French in French courses classrooms and comparative English in English courses classrooms. But this is not the same thing with contrastive linguistics, which compare two different languages. In comparative language, we speak about the same language, different forms in the same language. Localization. Definition and overview. Localization is the adaptation of the content of the user interface of the digital text to the culture and different standards of the target audience. It is a part of the JILT process. JILT is a acronym of globalization, internationalization, localization, and translation. Localization as a part of this process involves a number of aspects that need to be adapted to the culture, customs, and uses of the target audience. These aspects are generally the text, it is the most important. Images, colors, date and time formats, units of measurement, etc. These aspects must be adapted to the culture and uses of the target user, so that the latter doesn't release that the site has already been designed in another language and under the umbrella of another culture. Corpora. The corpora used in this study is composed of localized website dealing with fields such as electronics and fashion. These websites are generally the website of great companies in the world. These websites are localized for France and Canada when it comes to French, United Kingdom and United States of America when it comes to English. The use of localized website is justified by the fact that they are the only comparative text support, the comparative language support available at the moment. Given that the selected sites deal with similar themes in the economic sector, and more specifically, fashion and electronics industries, it seems to us that localized sites cannot suffice as the sole corpus for our study. We want to diversify the themes in order to extract as much useful information as possible. So we have two, as a corpus, non-localized websites in fields such as corporate, sports, and real estate of the same countries. Results of the study. World leads companies attach great importance to the specific use of the same language in the countries they target. These companies not only dedicate a version for each language, but one for each target country, even those using the same language. Localized websites give us information about linguistic aspects and non-linguistic aspects. We have some examples. As you can see it, this famous brand, this famous company, in its website uses the word gilet on its British version and the word vest on the American version to designate the same product. This example, of course, is not the only on this site. There are many others, such as, for example, jumper in United Kingdom, a sweater in United States. We have in French this example, another famous brand, maillot de foot in France, chandail soccer in Canada to designate a football shirt. We have in field of electronics, these famous companies say about fridges in United Kingdom and refrigerators in United States. In the same field, this brand, this company, use in its website home cinema in France, cinema maison in its version localized for Canada, and there is many other examples. There is too some non-linguistic. The linguistic aspects are not the only that are important in this respect. The localized websites have shown us that different countries use different conventions for rating large numbers, phone numbers, etc. We have, for example, we speak about the numbers. We have thousands separator can be a space or a comma depending on the country. Decimal separator can be comma or point depending on the country. Currencies, we have the currency symbol can be placed before the amount without space or after the amount with space according to the country. In non-localized websites, we have these these examples in fields as sport and real estate. We have football in French of France and American and British English. We have soccer in Canadian French and American English. We have these many other examples. In real estate, we have a very important thing. As you can see, first floor, first floor in United Kingdom is the second floor in United States. It is the right form of translation. Why? Because uh, because the listing of floors in the same building differs between European and North American countries. It is an example of standard uses adaptation. In Canada, because of American influence, the floors are counted from ground level. The ground level is the first floor, whereas in France and Europe in general, they are counted from the floor above the ground level. And notably, a major part of our examples are in French because our language work in the case of our study as in French. Interests of this model. There is 6 types of interests. We have didactic interest. Using this model of language teaching offers didactic advantages by allowing learners to discover new aspects of the language they are studying. However, phonetics cannot be fully understood in these websites. These websites are yes, I lost my yes interface. Yes, a digital interface without voice assistance. We have two linguistic interests. Didactic and linguistic interest overlap, but linguistic interest could in the future encompass dialects and can encompass voice assistance. We have non-linguistic interest. This model, in addition to its linguistic interest, allows language and learners to acquire non-linguistic skills such as writing conventions, unitary symbols, unit of measurement, and so on. Economic interest. By mastering the different forms of language, companies can communicate effectively with their customers, avoiding mistakes that could put them off. Technological interest. Each improvement in language teaching improves the technological tools for better performance, requiring human intervention for an authentic language. Intercultural interest. By making a maximum of mutual understanding and a minimum of misunderstanding with internet users using the same language but from different countries. Perspectives. In the light of what we have just seen in this study, we would like to propose a model for teaching and learning comparative language which draws on the achievements of localization. In this respect, it would be appropriate to derive maximum benefit from the achievements of localization by using localized websites as parallel corpus, using non-localized websites as comparable corpus, and the use of other sources such as books, magazine, videos. I just say that we cannot learn in phonetics the pronunciation in on the websites. Once this material has been assembled, the only thing left to do is to design textbooks in such a way that text intended for teaching are available in two or more standard forms of the same language, in the same page, of course, and in the same book. We have some examples with short sentences. I think that I I will speak only about the English, the example in English. We have this example. First floor of the flat with a view of a football pitch in United Kingdom. In United States, we must say second floor of the apartment or with a view of soccer field. We have many differences. First floor and second floor is a norm a norm of listing the floors. And we have another example with football and soccer. So football in America, in the United States, is another sport. A mistake in this respect can, for example, in a website, an international website offering tickets for football matches, a mistake at this level could mislead buyers and risk earning the party making the offer the level of fraud. As conclusion, this study allows us to discover a number of things. See, if you want, localized and non-localized websites are useful in comparative language teaching. They allow to discover different standard forms of the same language. They offer many linguistic and non-linguistic useful informations. However, they have limitations. Different pronunciations are one of these limitations. The use of other support, such as videos, could overcome this limitation. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry for the sound.